Hey everyone, today we have a can of baby formula that expired back in the 1930s. We're going to be opening it up today and seeing, does it still taste good? Does it still make up to what it's supposed to be? And I'm about to butcher the name of this. Meads Dextry Maltose. Meads Dextry Maltose is the name of it. But I'm going to give you guys a close-up look at this can, and we're going to see what it looks like when we open it up. It's a dry powder. I think it's going to be absolutely fine. In years past, I've opened up a bunch of different types of baby food, not for infants, but for babies, over on the shelf right here. Over on this shelf, I have some other baby foods that we had in videos a couple years back. Like I taste tested this, which is not super old, maybe 20 years old, but these ones here were from the 80s. Those are dry powder mixes we mixed up, and they all tasted absolutely perfect. So I'm hoping this dry powder is also going to taste really good from the 1930s. Those are from the 80s, but this is a big leap back in time to the 30s. We recently opened this, which is a canned food. That was absolutely disgusting, and we fed that one to the toilet in the other room. So I'm very excited to get this open. And the best part is, it has a key. I love that. I love old cans where you get to use a key. Yeah, I could use a can opener, but I want to use the key. That's so exciting. So there's a little tab you're going to pull out, put the key on it, twist, and it takes the entire top off. I love doing that. Most canned foods these days don't have that. Spam used to have it. When we opened the 1980s Spam, that had a key. That's actually the top stinkiest food I've ever opened on my channel. If you buy Spam, the Dollar Tree version of it, this teenier can, it actually still has a key. That's really cool. And Spam makes more flavors than you think. Up on the shelf here, there's so many different flavors of it. And that's just some of them. You can check out that video if you're interested. I had like a whole buffet on the counter of every Spam I could get my hands on. So now I'm going to give you guys a close-up look at this formula can, and then we'll get to opening. All right, everybody. Here's a close-up look at this can. I'm going to make sure everything focuses in case anyone wants to pause and read it. So I got this from an antique seller, and they say it's from the 1930s. The only definite thing I can prove is it's before 1963, just because it doesn't have the zip code on it. There's also not really instructions on how to make it. It just says to mix it into some hot milk or hot water. We're going to do a little of both, measuring it out evenly. It doesn't tell you how much water to use, doesn't tell you how much product to use. So we'll just be creative with it and see what we can make. It says right here to dissolve it into hot milk, hot water. So I'm going to get the little burner out. I already got some milk, some water right here, some pots. We're going to see what we can make. Bottom of it. This can's in really, really good condition. You see it was sealed with lead. It's a dry product, so I'm not worried about lead poisoning at all. But sometimes if it's a really old can with liquid and actual canned food that's ready to eat right out of the container, many of these canned foods we've opened over the years, we've done lead testing. And these things here test for lead, other heavy metals, and a lot of those, it was off the charts of the safety zone. Because when you're testing for it, you see green is acceptable. If you're in the red, that tells you that the Food and Drug Administration doesn't want you having that. It's too high for human consumption. Now, it says 1230. Could that possibly have expired in December of 1930? It's possible. It's very well possible that it's that old. So now, it also says 75. This was probably maybe 75 cents back in the day. I know baby formula these days, it's very expensive. So it wouldn't have surprised me if it was that much back in the day, when most canned foods you could get for like 10, 20 cents. So here's the key. We're going to go ahead and pry that off. Broke. Now, We go around and we find the little teeny tab. We're gonna go ahead with my finger very carefully, pull that little tiny tab out. We're gonna put that key on there. And the way these work is you're just gonna twist. Now it's about to go. Tss. Let's see if there's any pressure. Did we break it yet? We definitely broke the seal. You can see now. Is that into the can? No, not into the can yet. Maybe there'll still be a pressure hiss. Any moment now. I still have not heard any pressure relief, but I want to have two hands. Oh, some of the formula's coming out. There's this white powder all over the place. Starting to come out. Maybe shaking it around, I fluffed it up. But it's good that you're able to shake it around. I can tell it's not clumped together. Moisture never got in here. So it seems like there was no pressure relief. Yeah, no pressure at all. Oh, look at all that powder. Let that powder go away. What's it smell like? I think it's going to be perfect. It smells to me just like powdered milk, or it smells like maybe even a vanilla protein shake powder. And not the gross one, like for bodybuilding, the gross one that's chalky and, not the best tasting, but that smells like it could actually turn into something very delicious. Let me show you how beautiful and fine that powder is. So we got this really nice fine powder. It's like powdered sugar or flour. Really, really nice. It never expired. It's in perfect condition. Wow. Really nice. It's in great shape. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and reach underneath my counter because I have a little burner here I'm going to go ahead and plug in. We're going to start heating up some milk and some water, and we're going to mix some of it in. I'm going to do even amounts of both. I think I'm going to do maybe a cup and a half of each, only because there's not a lot of milk left. If I have 2 cups of milk, I'll just buy more milk next time I'm at the store. I'm going to see. I'll do 2 cups of each if I can, if I have enough. Got to be careful with the milk so I don't burn it. But I'm not going to get them burning hot. I just want to heat it up a good amount. Nice blue cord. That was in a box of free stuff on the side of the road. And they're both off. All right. Now let's do some measuring out. All right, now we gotta do 2 cups of water. Don't know if we'll have that much milk though. 1. Let's see if we have enough milk to do even. Yep, we do. There we go. Now, while that's heating up, I'll do a little bit of tidying up. I'm a little sloppy doing that with one hand, but it's okay. Let this start heating up nice and slowly. Make sure I stir it so we don't burn the milk. Put it on just number 2 on each of them. And I'll go rinse this out, dry it out so we can pour some powder in there, make it nice and even. All right, everyone. So I got that cleaned up. This burner is obviously the more powerful burner out of them both. Put my finger in. It's a little uncomfortable to leave it in there. The milk, just lukewarm. So I turn that burner up a bunch. So let's see what we're going to mix in there. I say half and half. This looks like it's about 2 cups. Does it say anywhere on here what exactly is in there? It says 1 pound. So I think I will put 1 cup of in each. So let's see. Is that about almost 1 cup? There we go. That's about half. Maybe I'll end up putting more. Heating up. This one's about as hot as I want it, so I turn it back down to 1, maybe just to keep it warm. And we're gonna go ahead and mix that in there. Let me show you guys what I'm doing. Yeah, that looks pretty even. Maybe a little more in there. And I'll go ahead and just dump them both in there as is. So still kind of hot, so I'm hoping that 1 is on like keep warm. This is now on 3, 4. Yeah, okay, that one's catching up now. I'll put that one back to number 1 just to keep it warm. So these look about even, right? This one's a little bit skinnier, it's a little bit wider, so there's obviously going to be a little bit of a shortage. So I think this would be exactly 2 cups or close to it. So let's start off with the water. Dump that in. Boom. Woo. Wow, look at it dissolving nicely. Then we can clean this can out. I love how it doesn't have a paper label. It's actually painted on, so I don't have to be that careful cleaning it out in the sink before we put it on display. Look at it, just going right in there. That's dissolving, nice. Now, a lot of times when you add fluids to really old food mixes, it'll make them taste bad, or maybe they'll taste perfect. It depends. This was stored very well. I can tell by the can. It was stored very, very nicely over the years. Air probably never got in it, although there was no pressure relief, there was no vacuum on it, nothing at all, so it's possible somewhere the seal failed. Now, smelling it, I'd say that smells like what? Maybe it kind of smells like mini wheats, you know? Mini wheats with the frosting on them. It smells like vanilla, and it also smells like wheat like that. I don't smell anything rancid. There's still some clumps in there. It's just having a little trouble mixing, so maybe I'll turn the heat back up on these a little bit. That's going to take a good amount of stirring to get that completely in there. I'll let it soak for a little while. Now we're going to try the one over here with the milk. See how that one does. Whoop. Not that bad. Whoop, already sucked it right under. Smelling good. Turn it down. Don't want to burn the milk. Although it hasn't really heated up much. I wonder if that type of milk is harder to curdle because it's fat-free. Alright, how hot's that now? A little uncomfortably hot. We'll just shut them both off. I will let them soak for a little bit, and maybe we'll try stirring a little more. I'll make a little time lapse of me sitting here and stirring them over the next maybe 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes. Alright everyone, I stirred that for almost 5 minutes, and because of the suds on the top, you can't really see the color. So I'm going to go ahead right now and grab 2 of these glasses, and we'll pour some into there so you can see the colors. And that's come undone before. I'll have to just fix that. Alright, let's see if we pour these, what color they'll be. And I'll give everyone a good view of it, because I literally can't see the colors from up top because they're covered in suds. So one of them still smells exactly how I described it, kind of like vanilla, mini wheats. The other one, all I can smell is milk. Let's give it a pour. I think it dissolved. So this one looks like a coffee color, maybe kind of a color of tea, because you see, now that the bubbles are all coming up, it's about to turn clear, it looks like. Just got tons of little bubbles in it. And only a little bit actually didn't dissolve. Just a couple little clumps that look really gross. And the other one, the milk, you definitely won't be able to see through that. It's about the same temperature. Pour it in. And these cups were exactly the perfect size for this. There we go. This one completely dissolved. If I kept stirring, maybe that would have completely gone away, but we did do pretty well. Just dust off the burner. Unplug the burner. That's already cooled down. You put that back underneath the shelf. And now I'm going to let these cool a little bit and we'll do a taste test. They're still a little bit too warm to comfortably want to go up to and drink. This one looks just like plain milk. Look at that. Not much of a difference. Doesn't really smell any different, but it'll definitely be a bit thicker. The other one's about the color of like dark green tea. And I think if I let it sit for a little bit, it'll turn clear. Because if I zoom way, way in, there's so many little bubbles. Or are those granules of the stuff that just didn't dissolve completely? I think it's a little bit of both. We're going to let it sit for a good 5-10 minutes, cool down a bit. Then we'll take a drink. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up all this mess. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this stuff cleaned up. I can get the water and the milk back in the kitchen. All right, everyone, now we're going to make our way over to the sink. And we're going to clean this stuff out. Then we can put it up on the old food shelves. So I got the garbage. I'm going to throw the garbage out. And this should be easy to clean out. Super easy to clean out with warm water. Look at that. Nice. Dry it off just a little bit. I love doing dishes with really hot water because you just leave it out and the heat from the hot water immediately dries it, just like that measuring cup earlier. Nice. And we can just leave it like that with the cover. See, now it's kind of like a lid now that we opened it up. It's basically a lid, just like a little paint can. We just removed what was connecting it. You can leave the key on there. That also looks good for display purposes. Looks pretty nice. Nice and clean. All right, everyone, re-entering the room. Put it up in a little empty spot on the shelf. All right, brought the dishes upstairs, do that later. Put that with the coffee maker, since I don't use our water for coffee making because it's hard and it will eventually destroy the heating element. Go ahead and put this back into the refrigerator. And now it should have been enough time. Let's go back downstairs. Wow, being out of this room a couple minutes and re-entering, this room smells so strong of milk. Now this other one, it's dark in appearance. Kind of looks like the color of Coca-Cola now. I think that was a lot of bubbles because many of them are gone. Now the white pieces you see are definitely little fragments of it that maybe rotted over time and aren't properly mixing. But we're going to give it a taste. I do think this held up for the most part. I don't expect it to taste bad. All right, everyone. It is time for a taste test. First, the one with water. It's still pretty warm. It's probably hotter in there. It's probably going to be too hot. I'll probably burn myself. Maybe I'll have to wait a little more. Wow. It's kind of hot to take a bunch. I'm going to wait a little longer, but that's super good. I don't know how, but it tastes like vanilla and maybe even maple syrup mixed into it. It's got the right color for maple syrup, that lightish brown. If I put it up to the light, you guys can't see it, but it's like lightish brown if there's a light in front of it. from the dark side, it looks like Coca-Cola. That's super sweet and actually delicious. The other one with milk, let's see what that one tastes like. Way better, way more creamy. It tastes like very rich milkshake. Awesome. That is actually awesome. I'm going to drink some of this. I'm going to let it cool another 10 minutes or so because that's still very piping hot. And I don't want to burn the roof of my mouth drinking that, but that's actually delicious. That's really delicious, that stuff. All right, everybody, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's see how much these things cool down. It doesn't feel like they cool down at all. Wow, these mugs really hold temperature. Yeah, it cooled down, but not that much. So yeah, this one, now that I can actually taste it way better on my tongue without burning myself, a big gulp. Definitely taste maple syrup. Maybe you could describe it as cereal sitting in milk, or what else? Honey, maybe even. It kind of tastes like honey too. But it's really thick and delicious. I really almost don't want to waste this down the toilet. This is actually one of the most delicious things I've ever done. And this one without the milk tastes way more sugary for some reason. Tastes like honey, maple syrup mixed into it. Sugary cereal maybe. This one's just like a milkshake, more bleh, nothing special but really good still. I wish they had nutrition facts in the 1930s, but unfortunately they don't. Like that can, that doesn't say anything, does it? There it is. This doesn't say anything that's in it. And there's ash in it. Could that be what's floating in there? It says minerals, and in quotations, ash. 1% of ash. Protein. There's yeast extract. But I'm curious to know what the sugar is in that, because this feels like it's going to give me a sugar rush, and then I'm going to crash. Because every time I have something very sugary, where it's like over 100% of your daily sugar, I just crash afterwards. That's why I drink most things diet. Or I have coffee with cream but no sugar. Yeah, the one without milk has such a unique taste. I'm glad I did both because they're totally different. The milk covers up a lot of the unique taste in this one. But yeah, these are really sugary. As much as I want to drink them, I feel like it's going to give me a sugar rush. Like right now, my lips feel sticky. Like I've been eating pancakes or something. But we're going to go feed it to the toilet now. All right, everyone, we made it to the bathroom. Let's open the toilet on up. And some people in my comments like to think what you're seeing in there is a poop stain, but it's not. That's called iron oxidizing bacteria, and if you live in a spot with a well and you don't have a water softening system, it creates a ring in there. Just if you want to see iron bacteria before it even gets into the toilet bowl, let me show you what's in the tank. Look in the tank. That's all iron bacteria in there. That's what builds up in there. It's not just iron, but it's actually a living bacteria. And if I'm not home for a couple weeks at a time, we have to flush out the well before we use major appliances. It could wreck because it comes out bright orange from the well. It's iron bacteria eating away at the metal casting, but it will take nearly a century to actually destroy the well itself. Yeah, that's called iron oxidizing bacteria. If you want more information, just Google it. It's actually very interesting. You can drink it. It's not a bad thing. It's actually naturally found in most waterways. But in stagnant water with iron, it will eat it. So basically the iron bacteria only goes nuts when you're not using the water system, like I said, when I'm not home. That's when it starts multiplying because it doesn't like moving water. Here we go. We're going to feed it to the toilet. Woo! That does look like maple syrup. It's actually very thick too. Look at that. Looks like coffee. That smells so sweet. 1, 2, 3. All gone. Clean the toilet real fast too. Iron oxidizing bacteria comes off of things like toilets actually very fast. Almost full. There we go. No, you don't. Ah, you did. I need a better hook. That's being held on by a thumbtack. Alright everyone, I hope today's video of this old baby formula was interesting. I actually think this is the best product we've opened up in a long time. Thanks for watching everybody, and have a great night.